Two for one Jack, splat, just like that. Bringing you tons of information, that's where he's at. He goes around town covering topics you'd like to know. Well, that's what you get when you tune in to the 2 for 1 Jack Show. It's 2 for 1 Jack.
Yes, what I have posted on the Facebook page of the March Against Monsanto in Denver is that we sold the Chinese government 650,000 tons of GMO corn. And they tested the corn and they decided it was too toxic for them, so they sent it back. And then after that, they once we got it back, we fed it to chickens here in the United States. And then once the Tyson workers were laid off, we sent the chicken to China for processing. And then they sent the chickens back to us after they were processed. So the chickens and the corn have been through the Fukushima radiation belt twice. And so I think this stuff is extremely toxic, and people should not eat chicken in the United States. That's my recommendation.
And we need to all stand up against Monsanto and tell them that they're not welcome in our world. Like most other countries are against Monsanto and they don't bring in anything from Monsanto. We need to follow that and do the same.
So we understand that the rest of the world understands that some of these genetically modified organisms that they are feeding us is causing us challenges and is causing us to have disproportionate rates of cancer, heart disease. What we found out about what they're putting into Cheerios, what we're feeding our children, all of it goes along with an agenda that is not good for the health of the American population.
Yeah, and we need more options. Our children are having to eat GMOs because everything is genetically modified now. We don't want to feed our kids GMOs. We want our kids to grow up safe and healthy. We don't need this poison from Monsanto.
Fantastic. We have a couple people. Yes. Woo-hoo! We have a couple people standing behind us holding signs right here, and we want to make sure that we get this information out to all of our friends. Introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are. Speak up so I can hear you.
I'm Daniel, and this is Kathy. And the main problem with GMOs is they spray Roundup on everything, and Roundup is poisonous and causes all kinds of health problems. And they're speculating that autism...
Just a little bit louder, man.
Autism could be a result of all this Roundup in our food.
So, there's a lot of concern about those sprays being on our cannabis industry, too. We have friends like Larissa Boulevard who work very hard to make sure that the cannabis that a lot of us are enjoying is safe for human consumption. We also have record of products that were sprayed with pesticides leaving the United States and then coming back and renamed as organic without having been checked for the pesticide. So all of you guys being here and putting out your voice and showing that you care about the food that we eat and the things that we do is really, really important. So give yourselves a big hand. Yeah. Fantastic. We love you very much. Now, hi, honey. I told you, you're so sweet. And you've been doing everything for everyone for a long, long time. If you are the model of consistent and persistent problems for those, yeah, look who's there. Talking about consistent and persistent problems. Mr. Miguel, how you doing, brother?
Good, I'm disobeying the law.
Amen, thank you very much.
And a symbol of defiance against the government.
And should we defy the government and exercise our rights in a legal state to partake like adults should be able to.
Well,
amen.
Prohibition itself is illegal.
Yeah.
So
and when we passed 64, we made that illegal.
when we passed 64, we made regulations. We didn't repeal any laws. So therefore, that's why we still rally to protest to explicitly repeal not just city and state laws, but federal laws as
Speak
well.
up just a little bit more, McGill.
Sure, no, I got you. You got sound going by. So that's why we look to explicitly to repeal laws, not to regulate them like big business and big industry. You got these big regulators who are ignoring the fact that the grassroots of the industry didn't envision that dispensaries are sucking up coal and adding to the pollution, and our water streams that are being polluted with solvents to make waxes and not dispersed properly. So this is the grass movement still rallies for explicit repeal and regulations that for the environment and for small business.
You know, and it's very, very important that we are able to balance properly the weed, the cannabis and ganja industries, understanding that there are byproducts or there are trade-offs for being able to have legal cannabis. And one of the things that I hear you saying is that we have to be able to protect that.
Yes.
Fantastic. Now, hi, sweetheart.
Hi, babe.
Hi, baby.
How's my
You're
face?
so weird.
Feels like I got some shit on my face.
Yeah, well, I ain't gonna say nothing. Because I'm brown all over. It may just rubbed off a little bit, you know. That melting, that hot chocolate can get all over you. and everybody see it. You wear it like a charm.
Thanks, babe.
I love you very much. Tell everybody about yourself.
I'm Janet Mattson, and I'm part of Occupy Denver. And they passed a law in 2012 criminalizing all the homeless here in Denver. Our jails and prisons are full of homeless people because they cannot afford the $65 fine for sleeping outside with a blanket. So we feed them every Friday night. We have a community meal in front of Tattered Cover. Every Friday at 5:30. Be there at 5:30 if you want to eat. So it's all homemade, cooked meals.
And it's fabulous, and you have been in opposition to the camping ban forever, ever since it was imposed.
May of 2012.
And you have single-handedly been able to rally support from friends. Right?
That's right. That is right.
And also support from other friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't forget, head to the White House on the 4th of July. Another grassroots national movement is the annual smoking at the White House. Has been going on longer than normal, longer than any other organization. And so it's not just the 420 rally in Denver, which represents our city, but the national and global movement with humanitarian efforts. Not so much to imply that civil rights isn't a thing, but human rights makes it more broad and gives us the responsibility of Americans to undo what America did in the United Nations.
Including your website.
And you are about human rights.
I am definitely about human rights.
And you have been able to prove that some of these situations that our councilmen and our elected officials have perpetrated on the public are horseshit.
They shouldn't be there. That's for sure. They should. Yeah.
I was asked to ask you by him. How many? Yeah, you know, can't tap a brother on the shoulder with a camera in your hand, man. That's like mucking with people with a barrel of ink. How many people have you fed last night at the Tattered Cover?
I would say 75 to 100. That's what I feed usually every Friday.
And
Yeah.
I want people to understand for years you have been doing this consistently on Friday nights.
Yes.
And I have run into people who were starving. For weeks had not been able to find food because they were either off the program or while people were feeding, they were at work.
Well, Friday is a very slow week on people feeding homeless people. So that's, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I didn't know that when we started doing it on Friday nights because Friday night is not a good night for me. I work You know what I mean?
Right. And so you have given the sacrifice, and with us being part of Colorado Project Pay It Forward.
I love you guys too.
Thank you very much with our friends.
Thank you.
With us being part of Colorado Project Pay It Forward, we are going to be having a feed tomorrow right here at the Civic Center. Forgot about the marathon, but of course all the ladies are. But I mean, you have been an example of consistency and persistence, understanding the homeless challenge, and then being able to be shelter for people, or at least feed people when they were coming into the city, and all of the results that you have garnered from there, all of the disciplines, the Occupy Colorado, Occupy Denver, all of the things that you have done. I mean, I love you. And I
she
think
gets embarrassed, but she should be thanked over and over again for what she does. She is awesome. She does so much.
Okay, that's good.
And you got this on camera, right? You guys don't know how hard it is to get this on camera. Thank you very much for your time, baby.
Already. Thank you very much.
All right. So you guys, you look around you. These are the people that care. So when you guys see them, come by and visit them. We only nibble. We don't bite too hard, right? And this is what it looks like when you are in the middle of doing things that are wonderful and fantastic and are changing the world. I would like to tell everybody that we are very, very thankful for Janet and Karen and all of our friends, and Miguel who passed by, and the cameraman who has, look at there. So you thought I wasn't going to do it, didn't you? See, you don't know me very well, but I would like to.
Got his own interview from you.
Yeah, right on.
Okay, so my name is Jack. I do a TV show on Channel 56 called The 2-for-1 Jack Show.
All right, Jack. Fantastic.
Okay. And can you go ahead and tell me about your organization?
Absolutely. My name is Rodney Dean, and Rodney A. Dean, and let me take this thing off.
Turn it around.
Yeah. Here, hold that.
Yeah, put it on him.
Let's do this. My name is Rodney A. Dean. I am the social media director for our organization called Colorado Project Pay It Forward. And the reason that we feed the hungry and the homeless once a month here in this beautiful city called Denver, Colorado, is because we recognize that putting charity in front of the cannabis issue is a way for us to move a lot of the discussion about the safety of marijuana, cannabis, ganja, and the medicinal benefits that it offers to the entire community. We understand that the homeless community is the first affected by any of the law changes in sleeping situations, and especially in the cannabis situation. And we try to bring that awareness to the entire city by being able to feed the hungry and the homeless.
Hold on a sec. How can somebody contribute to your organization or contact information?
I am so happy that you asked. I am the social media director of Colorado Project Pay It Forward, and the best way to get in touch with us is get us on Facebook. It is Colorado Project Pay It Forward, CPPIF on Facebook, and I post at least 4 times a day about homeless issues and cannabis being medicine, because it is medicine, and it does help a lot of responses to opiates, a lot of responses to PTSD. I'm on my way to see Dr. Michelle Noonan Ross right now, who worked diligently to get the PTSD challenge covered in the state legislature. So we are part of the reason why cannabis needs a charity to put in the community so that we can make these discussions.
So, I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
No, go ahead.
So I hear that this did not pass this year, so we're looking at next year's legislation.
Sometimes you have to thank God for the things that don't happen. Right? We don't know what it's like when the laws don't change, because nothing changes for us. But we do know what would have happened if that hijacked bill would have passed, and it would have made the smoking of cannabis and the enjoyment of cannabis much harder on the average citizen.
Can I get your views on the Attorney General?
I think this is the opportunity to leave Jeff Sessions alone and to focus on other things. It is not like we can't go into local communities and being part of the charity aspect. This is one of the things that we're thinking about. that is going into local communities and doing grassroots efforts. Everyone has to realize that cannabis was a culture here in Colorado way before it was a law. It wasn't some lawyer that came up with an idea to legalize weed. It was mothers and fathers and grandbrothers and sisters and brothers who were sitting around smoking weed and saying to themselves, this didn't hurt me then, it's not going to hurt me now. They voted for it to be in the Constitution that all of the citizens here can have the choice to smoke cannabis, and we were already doing it. So we just codified it and said, look here, Mr. Federal Government, you can lax the border laws and flood our streets full of heroin, we're gonna smoke weed. You can empower the police officers to break down our doors and kill our children and our grandparents, but we're gonna smoke weed. You can take men out of our communities at the ripe young age of 18 to 24 when they're the most productive, but we're still gonna smoke weed. And we put it in our Constitution, we're putting it in your face, and there are a lot of other states that see exactly what we're talking about. The most harmless, enjoyable substance out there, and they want to make the most draconian laws against it. We decided that it's not going to happen in Colorado. 20 more other states have decided it's not going to happen there. We're excited that we're being on the forefront of putting charity in front of the cannabis issue, and we really want you guys to join us. We want you guys to join on, and the best way that we have figured that you can do this is by getting your friends high. Get your friends high, stop by, buy them an edible, give them a tonic, go to make sure that they understand the difference between CBD and THC. If you don't know, talk to Josh Jetton, talk to Mark Ziegler, talk to the people out there that do know. We have the information for you. Come and join us. Come and help us feed the hungry and the homeless. Join in on the line. Come in and get some of this wonderful food that all the people are putting together. And we can't say it won't have some Monsanto in it, but in the sentiment, my friend.
Okay, you go. Yeah.
Closer.
Okay.
We're counter-protesting because we believe that biotechnology is technology that can save lives, that can improve the food situation in many places around the world. And while we understand that many anti-corporate interests are necessary, people need to stand up and fight for their rights against corporations. Just to vilify and to demonize technologies is not the answer. Just to say ban GMOs or ban all chemicals, we don't think that's right. There are some technologies that have some applications that can be used rationally. So we're here to counter-protest. Thank you.
Okay, so I see a sign that says vaccines don't cause autism. Let's see.
March Against Monsanto promotes that idea.
Okay.
March Against Monsanto, the organization March Against Monsanto, promotes the idea that vaccines cause autism, and vaccines do not cause autism.
Vaccines do cause autism.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Yes. You just look at the fucking mercury and all the crap, the poisons that are included in the vaccines.
And people see they are aggressive against the mother of autistic children. It's a shame. I mean, we need to be more civil. We need to work together. We need to understand the issues. We need to understand science. See?
What did he say?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I speak Spanish, but you know, I'm trying to talk to you and be civil.
Okay. Oh, well.
I love these people.
Marching against Monsanto and GMOs in our food, and we just really want to know what we are putting into our bodies. We want to be informed. We don't want big money and big corporations to control our health. My everyday life depends on what I'm putting into my body. So I don't want it to be a mystery. I don't want to wonder if I'm poisoning myself when I go to the grocery store and buy my dinner for the night, and that I'm doing that every day, my entire life. What am I eating? Tell us what we're eating, Monsanto. What else? Let's see. Farmers. Farmers need to have a choice. they should have a choice whether they're using pesticides, GMOs, what they're doing with their food. They should have a choice, not be sued if they don't want it and it gets in their food anyway, not be sued.
Not be intimidated.
Right, what's up with the bullying?
Yeah. The same methods that we've been using for centuries are still available, and they were sustainable all that time, and they're still sustainable. And the GMO sustainability concept is a myth.
That's right.
We really encourage people to take the time and effort to educate yourself and try to listen with your heart and try to get past the fears and the hopelessness and think about just first identifying what you believe based on education and information, not feeding into the lies. Of course, do you think that somebody who's making a huge profit and can completely rule the world would lie to you about how that's happening? Or
My name is Stephen Carr.
What's
We're
the
just out
motivation?
here. We come out here every third Saturday downtown. We're out here feeding the homeless, helping give food packages, care packages, clothes. We do this every third Saturday. Anybody want to help? I'm the pastor of the Refuge of Denver, but we also partner with another great church called Inspire Church. And so we're here to just be a blessing to our city and try to serve some people. If you want to help donate, you can. You can look us up on www.therefugedenver.org. Check out everything that we're doing and God is using us to be able to do here in our city. God bless you. Thank you.
I have the tape I brought. Is that strong enough?
If you bring that check. Are they debating with you guys now? Well, no, what I meant for family tour on dumpster diving, and then they don't go into dumpsters.
Isn't that crazy? Stop poisoning us. But yeah, they find perfectly healthy, non-contaminated food out of just what the grocery stores can't use. Well, but they won't give it away because it's illegal.
Right.
You have to. They
but
have
that's
to
the
throw it
biggest
away.
lie of Monsanto and all of the other major agricultural, seed producers now is that it's a shortage. It's not a shortage. It's distribution. There's plenty of food. It's just not getting the people who need it.
Exactly. I mean, we can go to the moon, but we can't distribute food around the world. Come on.
We can go to Mars.
Come on.
We can go to Mars.
Profitable.
But we can't distribute
Healthy
food.
people
Yeah.
are not
Ban Roundup Now. You can find us at banroundupnow.org. We are a project of the group US PIRG. And the reason that we want to get Roundup banned, unless and until it can be proven safe, is that the World Health Organization has recently disclosed that Roundup is a probable carcinogen. That's really terrible. We put over 700 billion tons of Roundup on our food every single year. It's the most commonly used chemical in the entire world. So the fact that it's a carcinogen is not acceptable, that we're continuing to put this on our food that we feed to our families every single day. Not only is it a carcinogen, but there's also evidence that it causes liver disease and other problems with our immunosuppressive ability. Recently, the EPA did a scientific advisory panel on glyphosate, which is the most active ingredient in Roundup. That EPA panel came out with their results in March of 2017. Every single epidemiologist on that panel said that Roundup, or glyphosate within Roundup, is a possible carcinogen. When even the EPA and their hand-picked scientists say that Roundup is a possible carcinogen, we know that this is something that it's not acceptable that we have it on our food. So it's time to ban it, and that's why US PIRG and Ban Roundup Now are calling on cities and counties around the country to ban Roundup. We've had success in Montgomery County, Maryland, and in Irvine, California, getting Roundup banned. It's no longer allowed to be used in Boulder County on open space, and we want to see other places in Colorado and places around the country ban Roundup. My contact information for my office is 303-573-5995, extension 329. My email is kcook@pirg.org, and you can learn more about our campaign at banroundupnow.org. Thank you.
Hold on, let me get a shot of your t-shirt.
All right.
As consumers, I feel like we have a right to know what's in our in our food, in the products that we eat, consume. You know, Roundup turns into glyphosate, or when it's taken in by the plants, and that is known to be a cancerous, or is known to be a known carcinogen. And so that's why we're out here. In our family, we only eat organic foods, no GMOs, and you know, it's trying to keep our kids safe.
Part of the international grassroots movement, working towards animal rights and animal liberation. So we take direct action, nonviolent direct action in the local Boulder, Denver, and Colorado Springs areas. And we are fighting against the injustices that are happening for any animal, really. So recently we open rescued a girl named Annie. She was taken from a farm up in, I think it was near the Fort Collins area. So it was about an hour away from Denver, I should say. And the conditions she was living in was absolutely horrific. The open rescuers that found her actually found her with her beak sealed shut with her own feces, and the feces of other birds. So she was rescued and she's now living happy, safe, and free with a friend of ours. And so we protest in a variety of settings, just speaking up for Annie and all other individuals who do not have the opportunity to live as she will for the remainder of her life. And we're asking if anyone's interested in joining us in taking action for animals to look us up on Facebook. If you look up Direct Action Everywhere Colorado, you'll find our Facebook page. And then you can also find us on directactioneverywhere.com, and you can sign up to receive notifications from our local chapter as well as updates from
Just like that, bringing you tons of information. That's where he's at. He goes around town covering topics you'd like to know. Well, that's what you get when you tune in to the 2-for-1 Jack Show. It's 2-for-1 Jack, splat, just like that, bringing you tons of information. That's where he's at. He goes around town covering topics you'd like to know. Well, that's what you get when you tune in to the 2-for-1 Jack Show.